The overall presentation, very interesting. It is difficult times for cities, states, and for the federal government. But as they always say, the devil is in the details. It is a thick budget book, and the caucus, the Democratic caucus members, intend to go through it, not only for the respective committees that they're appointed to, but I think the overall budget. And we're going to develop a position on this. I think we've already seen some areas where we can adjust possibly some spending issues. It is good to see a very minimal tax increase, but any tax increase at this time is difficult for people to adjust to. So we're going to have to look at all those things. There is some concerns with not necessarily the amount of dollars that are spent, but how they're spent. And we're going to look at that as well. I think there's going to be some concern with the Board of Education relating to potential layoffs because of the flat funding. But we all do have to live within limited means right now. So again, it's the first night. We just got this. It's a large budget packet that we received, and we're going to have to go through it, literally, line by line.
It's been reported in the media that Governor Rell's budget proposal is based on a $6 billion deficit, when the deficit is actually $8 billion. What concerns do you have that the city of Danbury might not receive the same amount of funding as it did last year from the state?
I actually have three concerns in this area of relying on representations by the state, whether it is from the legislature or from the governor's office, is that we just don't know what those final numbers are going to be. That is one, I don't want to say danger so much, but something we're going to have to work on and to understand what the impact would be if that funding is reduced. Another issue that we rely on is the state passing a special act to allow Danbury to freeze its current assessment and not phase in the next step up in the assessment value. Now, if that is not passed, I'm sure most likely will be, but if it is not, we then have to readjust our mill rate to reflect an increase in people's valuation, as well as shift the taxation, because when we readjust our mill rate up, that's going to hit residential properties, and with our loss in motor vehicle grand list, it might be a shift in tax dollar impact. So there are, and there is a third impact, is just the general availability or monies that have been promised to us, whether through federal stimulus or through state grants. Even when a bill is passed, if it's not funded, we don't get those dollars. So those three variables are something we're going to have to keep in mind when we do this budget, and not to fudge the numbers based on pie in the sky expectations. I think it is realistic to believe that there's going to be somewhat of a working out the legislative level with the governor on some of these budget numbers, but I'm still always hesitant as a municipality having to rely on the legislature with a budget that actually comes out after we adopt ours.
Right.
So hopefully we don't have to adjust fire too much through the summer.
I think one of the concerns people are having right now is the ECS funding. If you lose ECS funding, that can really have a direct impact on the education side of this budget.
With the impact of this proposed budget by the mayor on education of flat funding, any loss of state and federal monies will have a huge impact. So it is very important, and I place a lot of respect and confidence in our legislative delegation to protect Danbury's interests, not because of politics, but because it's good policy for the city overall. And they've fought in the past and transcended party lines, notwithstanding different parties with the administration and most of our legislative delegation. So let's hope that they can work it out at the state level so that we have a good understanding of what the exact dollars are we're going to get.